Super happy Monday, everyone. Oh, I've been getting some decent sleep. Yay! With me, it's more of my monkey brain being too awake and too many things on my mind. But also, I probably need to do a lot more physical exercise to get me to the point where my body is physically tired. It's a really strange thing because when I take a nap, I do my power naps, 1 hour naps during the day at around 2 p.m. When I do my power naps, I sleep like a baby. Completely. I sleep, the best sleep I get. I'm wondering if I messed up my circadian rhythms, but at night I just can't get myself to sleep. And that could be an issue. But I've been forcing myself to go to sleep at night. What I do is, wow, look at that guy. Wow. Oh, you guys have to see this. Let me get the camera out. Look at this guy. Isn't he amazing? Look at this guy. He's an ancient soul. He's an ancient soul. It's a big guy. Not a good day to do my golf course. Illegitimate. Ride. How are you today? Mondays are tough on me and my wife. But you get used to it. It's the busiest day for her and for me. We usually get up at 5:30 a.m. I turn on the news to hear the traffic and the weather for her because I work from home. She still has a 9 to 5, and I help her with her lunch. I make coffee for her, and basically I crash again until 9 a.m. So Mondays are tough. My phone's off the hook. Business phone, I mean. And a lot of people who procrastinate, mainly my clients, leave everything for Monday. The polar opposite is Friday, where I get no calls, and whatever the client left out. He's going to call me on Monday. Say, oh, I forgot to tell you this Friday, whatever. So that's the way it works. It's been that way for 15 years. Hi.
Yeah.
Wow, it's kind of cloudy, so I'm not getting a whole lot of direct sun, and that's awesome. I did bring my drink, and you can guess what it is. I'm not telling. Ah, so bubbly. To a wise man, a few words suffice. I wondered once if I really needed sleep. That time has come and gone. I can tell you, I am much more alert, focused. My brain is in top condition when I have anything close to 8 hours of sleep. I know I never get more than 4, but would be nice. It's a gorgeous day. It's not that hot, although it's been an average of 90 degrees every single day for the past 2 months. I don't recall it ever hitting 90 degrees here every day for any long period in the past. Well, as you can hear, sorry, I was trying to avoid a lizard and I lost balance. As you can hear, today is landscaping day. The landscapers come, cut the grass, trim the trees. Luckily, that's part of our HOA fee. So at least I don't feel like I'm only paying for the damn golf course, which I only use when I illicitly bike ride in there. The funny thing is, whenever I bike ride on the golf course, on the tip of my tongue is always the phrase, I've lived here 20 years and I paid my HOA fees to pay for this. And I never, ever get stopped or called out. It must be ESP. They must know what my next line is going to be. Life. Do you believe you have free will? Do we really have free will? Okay, I found a topic that's interesting. So, let's talk about free will and how free will really is. Oh God, I'm loving this, guys. This is so good. You know, with the bicycle, it's more of a little tour around the neighborhood with the added advantage that I'm working out a little. So this is just, I'm in heaven right now. Especially today that it's cloudy, so I'm not getting direct sun. Oh man, it would be so cool if it stayed this way. It's gonna start getting noisy again, guys. Just warning you. I'll edit it out. I'll probably edit it out when I get home. So I'll just shut up while I pass by them. And getting this bike was absolutely the best investment I've ever done. Okay, I'm going quiet now. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, there's landscapers all over the place here. There's one or two places where the HOA does not cover the landscaping. Hello! But in most of the neighborhood, it's part of the HOA fee. And for me, who was not born with a green thumb or any love for lawnmower machines, it's awesome. Just what I needed. Not gonna do the golf course today. It seemed really busy, and apparently they're landscaping the golf course too, so it's gonna be full of noise and tractors and what have you. So, free will. I'm going to tie in free will with the new theory in physics, which basically, it's really easy to understand in one sense. When we do the math, oh guys, this is so delicious. Hey, anybody who lives in the Lake Worth area, please just message me on Facebook if you ever want to come and take a bike ride with me. I'll be happy to call you in the gate or meet you somewhere in the general area here. I live just behind Jog Road and Lantana Road. So, if you wish to join me, I'd love to have a second person. Maybe we'll do a collaborative video where we both discuss topics. Come on. Anyway. So, the math of the theory of general and special relativity requires 12 dimensions in order to cancel out infinities. In other words, to make the math of the theory of relativity work the same way that proven equations that work in the natural world cancel out with no infinities. If you get infinities when you're doing a quadratic equation, then there's something wrong. See, the universe is elegant. God is elegant and a master mathematician. And any equation that we have discovered pertaining to the quantum and the macro world, the ones that we can prove and work do not end in infinities. So getting back to that, in order to make the math for the theory of relativity work, 12 dimensions have to be added to the universe. So that's 9 beyond the 3 that we experience in normal life, or that 3-dimensional beings that are not evolved such as us can experience. In that sense, I love the movie Interstellar because it suggests that in the future humans will become 4- and 5-dimensional beings that have mastery over the 3rd and 4th dimension, and they were able to save Matthew McConaughey from death and gave him a way to communicate the equation of gravity that was needed to create anti-gravity and have people leave Earth. So I love those paradoxes, and they did it so well in that movie. So 12 dimensions. Okay. So if we have 12 dimensions, that also requires multiple parallel universes. And if we have multiple parallel universes, that helps explain so many things. For instance, I've had these recurring dreams where I'm working in a company, and dreams that go on for years. I have this recurring dream that I work for a company in New York City, and I know for a fact that in reality I've never worked there, but the dream is so real that when I wake up, I have a hard time realizing that that company never existed and that I was never working there. So, parallel dimensions, and many physicists, such as Alan Wolf, postulate that having a dream, like a lucid dream like I had, is basically I've temporarily visited switched dimensions, and I went to a dimension where I do work at this company. So it explains karma, it explains reincarnation, it explains so many things. Or actually, it opens the door to scientific explanations to these mystical, previously mystical events, what are thought to be mystical events. I'm trying not to get sidetracked, but I'm coming into the entrance here to keep my eyes open. Okay, so multiple dimensions, parallel dimensions should exist based on the way we solve Einstein's equations to avoid infinities. So let's assume that do exist. That means that there are parallel dimensions where I am not married to the love of my life. I did not have children. I became a famous musician, perhaps, or singer-songwriter, where that's where I was headed at one point in my life. And there are dimensions with identical people where I do not exist. My parents did not meet in this dimension. Therefore, I do not exist in this dimension. So we're going to get back to the topic of free will in a second here. So, maybe free will is just one way of sensing that I had to take my hat off, it's so windy, but that's great. Of sensing that we have these multiple possibilities, right? We have free will because we think we can make changes. So, it's getting a little hard to pedal here against the wind. So that part of free will I can attribute to multiple dimensions where you do make different choices. So there are three ideas going on here. And again, I'm going to pause for a second and remember three ideas, 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 three ideas. Okay, I think we're good now. So here are three ideas at work that are interconnected. Free will is connected to the possibility of 12 or more dimensions. And because there are multiple universes, as a result, free will is basically the expression of different choices you make in a different dimension. Okay, so there's free will, there's multi-dimensions, and the third idea is a holographic universe, or perhaps even a virtual reality universe. And that one's a little scary. Wow, that one really, not much scares me in terms of possibilities in the universe, but that one's a little scary. People like Elon Musk, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and many other notable physicists. Elon isn't a physicist, but Neil deGrasse Tyson is. They all tend to agree that we must be living in a computer simulation. So let's go there. So that's in my head. And then we'll go back to free will and evolution. Evolution and DNA and all this. But I'm going to go. So we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about evolution being hard-coded in the DNA of the universe and why it is hard-coded in the DNA of the universe. And we're going to talk about, is the universe a computer simulation? Are we a computer simulation? So let's talk about the computer simulation first. And what does that mean for us? Okay. So we have this uncertainty principle posed by Max Planck. No, Heisenberg, excuse me, Heisenberg. Heisenberg posed the uncertainty principle. And what that means, every time I'm against the wind, I'm basically going in a circle here. It's getting tough to pedal. Oh, these houses are nice. These were the first homes being built here. And they were built like 25 years ago. At that time, I certainly could not afford living here. I used to dream of living here. I only lived like 3 city blocks away, but in a much more reasonable neighborhood. So anyway, okay, computer simulation. Let's start talking about particles and let's talk about computer games, EverQuest. So the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, I found the right term. I must have gotten some sleep last night. So the Heisenberg uncertainty principle states that you cannot observe the natural status of a particle without changing the status of the particle. In other words, for some unknown esoteric reason, when you're not looking at a particle, it behaves like a wave, and it exists in a wave of probabilities where, let's say you're about to look at a basketball on the floor. Before you observe it, what happens is the basketball is in a state of a wave of probabilities where it is in a total of 3,000 possible locations at once. Multiple locations, but it's one basketball. The second you look through that electron microscope, the second you try to look at that particle or basketball, for analogy's sake, that wave collapses into a particle and appears at any given place, which also tells us that perhaps we are an intrinsic part of reality, and our observation of it directly affects reality. This is basically what the uncertainty principle postulates. So, the interesting thing, the interesting analogy, as a computer programmer myself, I understand how this works. When you're not playing EverQuest, the world of EverQuest that you go in and travel does not exist. When you are not observing, when you are not logged into your character, EverQuest doesn't exist. EverQuest is sitting in a database of just bits, on and off bits, that based on the last time you saved your game. So when you log into the game, you are observing, and the computer renders a landscape for you. So in that sense, the principle of the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle works exactly like a video game database, where when you're not looking at it or logged in, it does not exist. It is in a state of probability, but when you log in, it collapses into whatever location you were. Atoms are pixels. Pixels are the tiniest dots that together form an image on your screen. And we have atoms and other smaller particles, neutrons, electrons, protons, gluons, on and on, that serve the same purpose. So now we tie in the parallel dimensions. Just like in a game, you could pre-program, okay, this character, this is my bard character, and he has these possibilities that he can share, that he can go to or not. So I was ready to give them my line, but no need. So how does it tie in to multiple universes? Because what if you pre-program multiple possibilities of a character, where in one of the servers he could die, in another server he doesn't yet exist, on and on. So multiple parallel universes and multiple possibilities in a video game. Again, correlation, right? That would also tie in karma as your score in the game. Karma is your character's score, right? It's so interesting. Oh, I knew it. They don't know what to say. I'm telling you, they have ESP. They know that I'm about to blurt. I pay for this golf course with my choice. Fee. So far, so good. I guess I might get pulled over one time. That would be my karma. The score in the game. Okay. Gorgeous day. But I've been going for almost an hour. So I'm going to head home. Okay, so we see that. So we see the very possibility that we could be computer simulation. And one of the theories or rationalization, I would say, of this is if creating a virtual game where the character does not know he's in a game is possible, we eventually will get there. And we are almost there, guys. We are almost there. As soon as AI achieves singularity, we will be able to program computer characters who think they're alive, who think that the world that they live in is reality. And the interesting thing is that their physical laws would be similar to ours in the sense that they have pixels. They have a database. Their landscape does not appear until they walk into it. Okay? So that could be possible. So the other part of my bike rant was about free will. That was a little deeper, but allow me to explain. We know that the ingredients, the recipe, chemically and mathematically, for the Big Bang, had it been 1/10 of a digit off from, had it been 1/1,000,000th of a digit off from the current values, in other words, the amount of oxygen, protons, neutrons, on and on, anything off of that would not produce the planets and the galaxies and the abundance of possibility of life across the cosmos. Any deviation from the precise numbers of the precise chemistry and events from what it was denotes would not create the universe, a universe capable of life and intelligent beings. So, what does this mean? Yeah, that's my thing, man. I get to the point where I understand the how, and then my nugget wants to understand the meaning of it. So it means, perhaps, that there was intelligent design, that the universe was giving the precise recipe to expand the way it does, to create the planet in the way it does, and to evolve the way it does. And I postulate that in addition to that, not only did this particular universe, out of a possibility of many multiverses, this particular universe had an exact chemical, mathematical, and energy and atomic quantities to produce it. It sure seems like it was given these properties, but it all depends on how you look at it. If you look at it as there are so many multiverses that It so happened that there was one combination that produced intelligent life. But the problem with that is like saying that you get 200 monkeys typing on typewriters for a long enough amount of years, eventually you'll be able to piece together enough coherent words to write a Shakespeare play. So when you look at it that way, you can say, no way. There's intelligent design. So now I'm going to go move forward to free will, and what I think intelligent design really is. And please, if you have any theological or religious beef with this, stop listening now, because this is a purely scientific viewpoint, and it does not include or preclude a creator. It's one thought experiment from my mind to yours, and a possibility. Again, I do not include or preclude the existence of an intelligent design or a creator. So, seems that hard-coded in our DNA are instructions to create better copies of ourselves via mutations and cell division every time we reproduce. Okay? So you take evolution, and we evolved from single cell organisms that, by the way, still exist in our bodies, to a collection of cells that creates a being that's capable of reflecting upon the universe it lives on. So, we see the evolution of man, even in science, and it seems erratic, and it seems random and chaotic. And I submit there is no such thing as randomness or chaos. It is just a mathematical order. It's such a high complexity that we do not yet understand it. It was not long ago that we did not understand the weather. We could not predict the weather. And yet here we are able to predict the weather. In the same way, I believe that we will be able to predict with pretty good accuracy future events as we find out more and more about the universe. So somehow, in our genes, in the DNA of living beings, and I submit that it's hard-coded into non-organic beings as well, rocks, planets, etc. There's a blueprint that favors evolution, that favors something becoming better than the previous version. So the Big Bang happens, boom, and off goes the universe with these detailed instructions to mutate and create better versions of itself. And what we think is free will is nothing more than predeterminism with the level of chaos and randomness that we are not yet smart enough to understand. But we will get there. And so free will is nothing more than our ignorance, and we look at things, we think that they're chaotic and random and non-deterministic, but I think they are deterministic. I think no matter what, we have no choice but to continue to evolve into a galaxy, it's not, conquest is not the right word, but a species that will populate galaxies, civilized type 1 civilization that will be able to control their solar system and derive power and control the sun of a given solar system the way I told you before, with a Dyson sphere or something that will, to a type 3 civilization, which is galactic civilization, that will be able to harness the power of perhaps black holes, supernovas, and travel through space via wormholes, where you can fold space and not have the limit of space-time. You would bypass that altogether. I'm going to take a sip of my delicious something. Boy, oh boy, is that delicious. And we're still going. Now I'm going to get out of here and let this guy walk with his puppy, because technically I should be in the street. So, I think evolution has no choice, even though we think we do. No choice. So, continuing in that vein, we're always asking, here's a bigger question. This is a biggie, but I'm still going to throw it out there. Just for sakes. How's it going? Hey, Ken. Taking the girl for a walk?
Yeah, the crazy girl.
I'll see you later, bud. Have fun. Oh, my UPS box is here, so I'm going to have to start this later.